Hello and welcome to this Instabuilder 2.0 review video. My name's Zimmeron and thank you for watching. So if you have seen any of my previous videos, you'll have gotten a little bit of an understanding of what Instabuilder is. And I've got some comparison videos out there of different softwares and so forth. But this video specifically is going to be a bit of a walkthrough and just talking about some of the features that are available in Instabuilder 2.0. And as you can see on this cool little page here that I have up, Instabuilder 2.0 is, firstly, just need to know it is a complete rebuild of version 1, like completely different software program. So, if you're interested in getting Instabuilder 2.0 and you already own Instabuilder 1, you're not getting an upgrade offer, upgrade to 2.0 and so forth. So you do have to buy it like it's a brand new piece of software. I don't always like that philosophy personally. If you've already invested money in one, in version 1, but in this particular case, it is a complete rebuild, and who knows, they might end up offering a little bit more of a discount to previous owners, but I don't think that will happen, and I don't think it's looking like that's going to happen. Either way, the point is that it comes with a completely 100% new interface. It's 100% mobile responsive, has drag and drop visual editor. It's got two-step opt-in technologies and things like that. It's got a built-in image editor as well, which I must say is very, very impressive. It's almost like having a graphics program in WordPress. So that's really, really actually quite cool. They've got a button builder. They've got a scarcity generator in the system as well. They've got detailed analytics and statistics, of course. They actually offer you split testing as well, which the first version did have split testing, but it was very basic. But this is a lot more sophisticated and better. Exit pop-ups. Okay, so if someone tries to leave your page or your squeeze page, a pop-up can say, "Hey, wait a minute," all that sort of stuff. That sort of annoying stuff. Countdown timers, social sharing. They've got a notification bar that brings up a little bar that gives a little notification and things like that. You can also convert your templates that you build into HTML, and you can actually save your templates as well for reusing, and obviously a lot more, of course. There always is more, and truthfully, this is like, compared to version 1, which as I said, I liked version 1, and I actually used it and generated. I did a promotion for a live event and actually created 85,000 hits to my landing page, or landing pages, because I had like 6 to 8 versions of them, and drove obviously a ton of traffic, I used Instabuilder 2 for that. Instabuilder 1, sorry, for that. I did have to highly customize the template though. I actually used my web developers and we built our own custom templates, because I didn't really like the standard templates that came with version 1, but version 2.0 is just not even in the same ballpark. So, as I said, this Instabuilder 2.0, other than ClickFunnels, which is my favorite, but it is a premium product and expensive, and it's hosted. Instabuilder 2.0 is by far the second best system that I've come across, and the only other system that I'm going to be using in my business as soon as I can get my own hands on it. Okay, then they've got a pro version upgrade, and it's a one-time payment, but it allows you to build in opt-in page funnels, sales funnels, webinar funnels, launch funnels, and you get extra templates and stuff. Now, so basically they've created a funnel builder, and you can see here on this sample WordPress installation that Susanna Teresa gave me access to, you can see it comes as two separate plugins. So you've got the InstaBuilder 2.0 plugin, and then you've got the Pro version plugin. So if I go over to the InstaBuilder menu, you'll see it's very, very simple. There's only 3 menus. They always keep it fairly simple because everything's usually within their own pages as far as how Susanna Teresa and her team create their interfaces. I also own InstaMember, which is their membership plugin as well. So just so that you know, InstaBuilder 2.0 does not have any membership functionality. So you either need to have InstaMember, which I assume that they're probably going to have a second version of that coming out at some point. And wishlist member would probably be the other one that I would recommend, or you can buy mine when I finally release mine that's been in 2 years in development, will probably be in development for another year or two, the way things are going. And that's basically because I'm my plugin does everything, and I've developed it for corporate clients that I have, and so they're using it on their website, so it's constantly in flux and development, and has a lot of intensive custom features. So anyway, that was a little shameless plug for my own membership plugin that will not see the light of day for at least quite a while yet. So anyway, so what do we have here? As you can see in the dashboard here, I can see how many unpublished pages I have, how many published pages, the number of page views, and how many visitors I've had to my pages. You can see it's even got a little graphical little statistic. You can group your funnels or your pages together, and you can obviously create a new page from within here. And then it'll list all the different page groups and uncategorized or ungrouped pages in here that you can go in here and edit. You can obviously modify the permalinks, look at the statistics, and create split test variations, export them as HTML, publish them, duplicate them, or whatever you want. Okay, very, very cool, very simple interface, as you can see. Now, under the settings, just very quickly, the settings are similar to what there was in InstaBuilder 1, and I will do a side-by-side comparison in another video, but right now, you can have your own affiliate links to promote it and recoup some of your cost. Hopefully, if you have people that you can convince to purchase this, which I believe anybody who wants to build sales pages, opt-in pages, lead pages, whatever types of pages in WordPress especially, you must have InstaBuilder 2.0, and I say that without reservation. I also recommend ClickFunnels, but that is of a different caliber, and this is a lot cheaper and is certainly by far the second best alternative. Sorry to everybody else that's using lead pages, optimized press, and all of that. I have to be honest. I'm speaking from experience, and if you disagree with me, that's okay. That's completely fine. So as you can see, it integrates with Facebook, so you can add Facebook Connect, Facebook Comments, like integration, and all that sort of stuff. Discs, commenting can also be added to your pages. It's got GoToWebinar integration, which the first one did not have, I do not believe, from memory. It's been a long time since I used it, and I certainly did not use the webinar portion of it if it was available. And then they have the image search capability, so if you're looking for a particular image, you can actually input the keywords, and it'll search through Flickr and Pixabay for images that you could insert into your pages. And it's also got an image editor, which is out of this world, as I had already intimated. Okay, and then the funnels section here is where you can actually go ahead and build your funnels. Okay, so what I'm going to do just quickly, because I'm trying to keep my videos a little bit shorter, but it's hard if I'm going to give you an honest and detailed review. But I just want to show you the very basics at the moment. So let's just go in here. A new page. You can see that I can select the different types of templates. I've got sales pages, squeeze pages, launch pages, webinars, coming soon pages, and other pages. So you can click on each one of these and you can see it loads pretty quickly, and there's quite a number of selections. And if you do buy the Pro version, you will get additional templates, but you can also create your own templates from scratch. I mean, the editor itself is so sophisticated and so good, second only to ClickFunnels, and both actually have pluses or minuses to them. And there isn't, at the moment, I have not come across what I would consider to be 100% best drag and drop visual editor yet. I have never come across that, and I don't know if I ever will, because everyone's different and everyone has their minds work differently and whatever else, and certain things that might be intuitive to me might not be intuitive to you. Okay, so they've got a lot of different types of pages. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Now if I go in, I like to try and always select something that's a little bit more interesting or a little bit more complex type of page, just so that you can get a feel for it. So here I click choose, and you can see it's gone straight into the editor. Now, because of the size of the screen that I'm recording, I've shrunk everything down to fit into this the dimensions of my recording. But obviously, if your page is wider, it would be much wider, and so forth. But you can see that very simply, it comes into its own editor. Okay, and it's got all of its own sections. Now, up the top here, you can change the permalink. You can add variations. Okay, so instantly from within this page, you can pull up your version of the page as you've got it currently, and you can immediately create multiple variations straight from within here, which is really, really cool. I don't have to leave and go back to any other screen in order to do that. If I click on this preview page, I can obviously preview the page, and you can see it'll take me to this preview section where I can, well, I almost got a fright then. But you can preview it in different screen sizes to see what it would look like in a mobile device. So here's what it would look like in a phone, or a phone sideways or whatever else, and you can actually flick between your different variations to see what your different variations will look like. Again, pretty cool stuff. Then you've got page settings, the ability to add an attention bar, different bars up the top where you can, have opt-in forms or whatever you want, pop-ups that you might want to display, a slider down the bottom, exit splash, welcome gate as well, which is really cool. You can add different scripts and codes, graphics, and the ability to even change the template. So you can see it's all in this menu up the top here as far as the main overall settings. You've got the save button, you've got the publish button, and if I click down here, I can restore to previous saves. So if you do something and something tends to work out the way you want, you can restore to your previous save. You can publish to Facebook, publish to HTML, which will create a HTML version. I will say that when I've published to HTML, the HTML version does tend to come with a lot of unnecessary code. Okay, so it tends to load a little bit slower than I would like in the HTML version, and I had to go in there and strip out a lot of the unnecessary code because I know a little bit about web development and stuff and programming, so I I would like to see that maybe a little bit better, so that it doesn't have all the unnecessary scripts and everything, or somehow filters out the scripts that are necessary based on the elements that I have in the page. Okay, and then you can save as a template, which is huge. So anything you create, you can save as a template, reuse it later, different version of it, and you can exit the editor. Okay, so that's just the top bar alone. Now over here is where the fun starts, because you can go in and literally change anything that you want. You can see as I click on here, I can click on the edit here, and it comes up with the editor. So I could write here like, please, subscribe now. Very, very cool. Unlike WP Profit Builder, that's really clunky and awkward and problematic and things like that, in playing around with my initial tests, you don't get any of the funky stuff happening. The editor is fully functional and it lets you do almost anything. And as you hover over and select different sections, whether it's individual words or the entire box or so forth, when you click on the edit icon, which is this one over here, it's sometimes, if it's a box, it'll pull out different areas. If it's an entire row, it'll pull out different areas where you can then go in and adjust the margins, the padding. You can just go sick, you can go crazy and have a lot of fun with this. You can duplicate anything that you've got in here. If in this case it's an opt-in form, then I can go in here and put in my opt-in code from my autoresponders. I can adjust how this looks. I can do webinar integration and Facebook opt-in. I can add that if I want. You can see I just added it in there. It's added it, but now I'd have to go and make this box a bit bigger. So let's just drag that down a little bit, and you can see I've sort of made that bigger and changed it a little bit here. If I wanted to go in here, I can select videos from YouTube, Vimeo, or my own hosted, or embed code, and put in any type of video from any other video software, hosting provider, whatever. But the main thing is over here you can see you've got all these different elements, everything from horizontal lines to boxes to videos to countdown. So look, if I wanted to add a countdown here, boom, look at that. Then I just click on that and I can go in here and change the design to whatever I want. So I could make it that. I could change the color if I didn't want the red border. I wanted it to be something else. Let's make it green or something. I don't know. But the point is, you can see that I can just really quickly add all sorts of things. Today's date is in here, tabbed content, columns, opt-ins, and so forth. And as you can see, I'm just sort of really just going through this really, really fast, and you can just really go crazy. So you can see this is like full on amazing editor. I mean, I'm going to go a little bit more into the editor later on, but I think that sort of gives you a little bit of an idea of how cool it is, and the types of functions that you're able to do with Instabuilder 2.0. I mean, as I said, when I found out that this was coming out, it was like, oh my god, I've been promoting ClickFunnels and I'm using ClickFunnels, and is this going to be a problem? And how all that sort of stuff. And of course it's not, because ClickFunnels is a whole different entity and a whole different kettle of fish, and Instabuilder is WordPress related. But man, when I saw the editor, it was like, whoa, this is amazing. I will say that Instabuilder takes a few more clicks to get to the same results in some sections of ClickFunnels, but it also has, in some ways, some cooler features that ClickFunnels at the moment does not have, and certainly that lead pages is not even on the ballpark, and Optimize Press has a lot of is very clunky and complicated and has its own problems as well. So I don't want to I'm going to do some side-by-side comparisons. I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what Instabuilder 2.0 looks like right now. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. Check out my other channels as well. They're featured somewhere here. And there's also links down the bottom. Please click on the different links and get on the list to get Instabuilder. It's launching on December 2nd, I believe. And the starting price for the single site license or 3-site license is going to be $37. So all up with the professional features and everything, it's going to probably cost you, depending on the size of the license that you get, it's going to be over $100, but it is a one-time fee. So that is a huge bonus. And once again, if you value the importance of sales funnels and opt-in funnels and lead generation and all of that in your business, then you need to have some sort of a sales funnel builder, and obviously this has split testing, and you can create multiple variations very easily. So to be able to track all of that is infinitely critical, and I'll probably do a more in-depth video on sales funnels at some point, just strictly not about software, but about what a sales funnel is and how to optimize them and the best ways to structure them and things like that. But anyway, thank you so much for listening and for this intensive overview of Instabuilder 2.0. Click, click, click. Thank you, and enjoy.